All right, so this is the last part of 13.2, producer surplus. So remember in the introduction, I said that I had used different variables, so I wanted to verify the variables for you. So in MyMathLab, they use different ones. So this P with a bar over it is what I called B. This is our market value, so this is the amount that the market is allowing a business to sell their product for. This X bar is our number of products, and this is what we will have to find first. So that's always going to be your first value. So in this case with producer surplus, remember it's always the upper value or the upper function minus the lower function. So our upper function for producers is our market price. And now we're going to use our surplus function. Okay, so that's the lower function. And what we're doing is we're finding the area between the market price and the supply equation, or the supply price. Okay? All right, so the idea behind this is a producer or a company is willing to sell their product at a lower price, but because they can get the market price, they're actually in a happy value, right? They're making money. So this would be considered profit. It's how much they're making over what they're willing to sell, okay? All right, so here's the formula. It is the upper value, so the market price, minus the supply equation. And we're going to find that the integer, sorry, not integer, the integral between 0 and our number of products. All right, so here is an example. Find the producer surplus at a price level of $62. Okay, so that's this value right here. So our P bar is $62. Our surplus equation is 10 plus 0.1x plus 0.0003x squared. That's our surplus equation. In order to find our X bar, the number of products, we know that the supply is 62. So notice this 62 comes over to our graph. So we have the height, we have the Y value, we need to find the X value. So we're going to come here, we're going to go 62 equals 10 plus 0.1x plus 0.0003x squared. We're going to combine our like terms, so we're going to bring our 62 over. We're going to set our function to 0. Okay, and now you have a quadratic equation that you can use factoring, good luck, or quadratic formula. So we're just going to use a quadratic formula. So I'm going to rewrite this. So we have 0.0003x squared plus 0.1x minus 52 equals 0. All I've done is I've rearranged it. Now I have my A, my B, and my C. So now I'm going to come over here, and you're going to use a lot of paper on this one. So we are going to use the quadratic formula. So here's my A, here's my B, here's my C. So quadratic formula is negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Okay? Lots of paperwork. All right, so plug this into our calculator, and we're going to get negative 0.1 plus or minus. Remember, you always do what's underneath the radical first. So 0.1 squared is 0.01. I'm going to multiply 4 times 0.0003 times negative 52. So 4 times 0.0003 times 52 is 0.0624. I have 2 negatives, which makes it a positive. All over 2 times 0.0003 is 0.0006. And now I'm going to keep going. Negative 0.1 plus or minus. When I add my 0.01 to that, I get 0.0724 all over 0.0006. and then I get at negative 0.1 plus or minus. I take the square root of 0.0724, and I get 0.26907 and so on. So because there's a 0, I can drop it there. Again, you don't want to round too soon, but because there's a 0 after my 9, I'm pretty safe with rounding that value. All right, if you don't want to round it, you do not have to. So I'm going to add negative 0.1 to that, dividing by 0.0006, and I get 281.787. That's one answer. And then negative 0.1 minus 0.269 divided by 0.0006, and I get a negative 615. Okay, so this is where you have to make that judgment call. We're talking about the number of products. This is clearly not a good number. This is what's called an extraneous answer. So this is the only answer I can use because it's the positive version. So I can round this. 281.7 is the same as 282. Okay? So what did I just find? Don't get lost in these. What I just found is my X bar. That's all I found. All right? I have not used my producer surplus yet. All I found is my X bar. So now I'm going to erase all this. And now, let's see, I think I can erase, I better keep this. All right, so 62 is our P bar, X bar is our 282. We know that goes up here. So now I can find my producer surplus. I'm going to evaluate between 0 and 282. P bar, or my market price, is 62, minus my supply function, right? I'm not using this one. This is the supply function. Okay? So make sure you keep the right function. So notice I am putting it in parentheses because this negative needs to get pushed through everything. So my producer surplus is between 0 and 282. 62 minus 10 is 52. This negative gets pushed through everything, so minus 0.1x minus 0.0003x squared. So now I can find the antiderivative of that function. So here we go. I'm going to quit writing PS because you know it's producer surplus. So, excuse me, I'm going to find the antiderivative. So the antiderivative of 52 is 52x. Remember, when it's a constant, you just add an x to it. The antiderivative of this is 0.1. I'm going to add 1 and divide by my new exponent. This one, I'm going to add 1 and divide by my new exponent. So minus 0.0003 x to the third over 3. And now I'm going to evaluate between 0 and 282. Okay, so I'm going to need to make more room down here. Okay, so 52 times 282 minus 0.1 times 282 squared divided by 2 minus 0.0003, I gotta move, times 282 cubed divided by 3. So that is when I'm using 282. Now when I plug 0 into this function, I'm going to get 0. Okay? No worries. Everything has an x to it, so it's just 0. So now all you have to do is calculate this. So I did it all. When I calculate all of this together, you can go ahead and do it. Get this answer, this answer, this answer, and you will end up with 8,445. This is my producer surplus. So what that means is this amount, this area under the curve is 8,445. That means that my producers, my business owners, saved or profited $8,445 cumulatively. So this whole area. So think of this as every business that's willing to sell their product less, but they don't have to, is going to have a cumulative profit of $8,445. And that is producer's surplus. So the big thing with this is if you get to this part right here and you have to use the quadratic function, just don't forget what you're finding, okay? When you use the quadratic function, you're actually finding the x bar. All right? That's producer surplus. We are done. This is all the new material. From here on out, it's just review for the final and you will be good to go.